Right now, information is very limited. Like you two mentioned, we do know this is an officer-involved shooting. One person was transported, but the extent of that person's injuries is unknown at this time. But I just want to tell you guys, there is quite the large police presence here. A good portion of downtown Austin is blocked off as part of this investigation. We do know that police responded to this area around 1 o'clock this morning. They received multiple calls of shots fired in the 600 block of Trinity. Like we mentioned, one person was transported to the hospital, but the extent of that person's injuries is unknown. You can see from this video how chaotic the scene was when the shooting was first reported. A good portion of 6th Street, several surrounding streets also blocked off right now. We spoke with a DJ who was playing music at one of the bars on 6th when the shooting happened. He told us what people did after they heard gunshots.
I was DJing, I was playing some music, and then all of a sudden we heard people running, crowd was running east on 6th Street. Everybody was just running. We turned off the music, shut the doors down, and that's pretty much it.
At this time, we have not heard yet from Austin police. They tell us it may be several hours before they talk to the media. But I just want to show you guys, even a portion of the parking lot where the media is staged is blocked off right now. So hopefully we will hear from Austin police.
Jacqueline Sarkeesian joins us live from downtown with the latest. Jacqueline?
Good morning to you guys. Yeah, there is quite the large police presence here in downtown Austin. Limited information at this point, but police say that they responded to multiple calls of shots fired around 1 this morning off of Trinity Street. One person was taken to the hospital, but we don't know in what condition. We know this is a very popular area with a lot of people walking around between restaurants and bars. We spoke with a DJ who was playing music at one of the bars on 6th when the shooting happened. He said a lot of people stayed calm, but they did start running away from the scene after they heard gunshots. Several surrounding areas of downtown Austin are blocked off while police investigate this incident. A portion of the parking lot where we're located off of 7th and Trinity Street is blocked off. Police say that they are looking at some footage from this incident. Hopefully they will get back to us shortly. They said that could take some time before they talk to the media, but we do know there was an officer-involved shooting here around 1 o'clock this morning. Back to you. Well, right now information is very limited, but Austin police tweeted out a few minutes ago that the chief of staff will be speaking to the media very shortly, so we are expecting him to arrive here just within the next few minutes. But we do know around 1 o'clock this morning, Austin police responded to multiple calls of shots fired off in the 600 block of Trinity Street. We know one person was transported to the hospital, but the extent of that person's injuries is unknown at this time. Now, you can see from this video how chaotic the scene was when the shooting was first reported. We do know this is a very popular area with a lot of people going to restaurants and bars during the night. A good portion of 6th Street and several surrounding streets are blocked off right now. We did speak with a DJ who was playing music at one of the bars on 6th when the shooting happened. He told us what people started to do after they heard gunshots.
I was DJing, I was playing some music, and then all of a sudden we heard people running, crowd was running east on 6th Street. Everybody was just running. We turned off the music, shut the doors down, and that's pretty much it.
How many people are out on 6th Street?
Again, there was an officer-involved shooting here in downtown Austin around 1 o'clock this morning. We are waiting to get a media briefing from the chief of staff in the next few minutes. Back to the studio. Good morning to both of you. Austin police tell us that they will be here on scene for the next several hours. We now know a total of 8 police officers shot and killed a man earlier this morning here in downtown Austin near 6th Street. A total of 9 officers, though, have been placed on administrative leave regarding this incident. One officer used a less lethal approach. We do know that man was shot multiple times. Police say he was a 21-year-old black man, but has not been identified. Assistant Chief Troy Gay spoke with the media about 45 minutes ago. He says investigators are reviewing evidence from both public safety cameras and body cameras. Before the shooting, there had been multiple fights outside a concert at the Terminal 6 Club off of 6th Street. Assistant Chief Gay says officers were already on alert because they were responding to a couple of disturbances from that concert. Then the shooting happened in the parking lot at the back of the club. Police say at least 2 people had firearms and were shooting off their guns multiple times. Officers that were located off of 6th Street and Trinity Street approached the alley when they heard those gunshots. They say a man then ran towards them with a gun in his hand. Assistant Chief Gay says officers gave him multiple commands to drop his weapon, and that's when they fired at this man.
As with any officer-involved shooting, it is a very tragic situation. It is a very sad day for our city, is that we have lost a individual, 21 years of age, but we also had officers that were involved in a critical incident. So our hearts go out to our officers, they go out to our community and the individuals' families.
It's been about 6 hours since this shooting happened. You can still see it is a very active scene here off of Trinity Street and 6th Street. Chief Gay tells us that officers performed CPR on that man who was killed. EMS had to take that person to the hospital with critical life-threatening injuries. That man was pronounced dead around 1:22 at the hospital. Assistant Chief Gay tells us no one else was injured in this incident. I'll have another live report coming up in 30 minutes. Back to you. Good morning to both of you. A total of 8 Austin police officers shot and killed a man earlier this morning. It happened around 1 o'clock near 6th Street off of Trinity Street. Police say the man was shot multiple times, and we now know he was a 21-year-old black man, but hasn't been identified. Assistant Chief Troy Gay spoke with the media. He says investigators are reviewing evidence from body cameras and multiple public safety cameras. Now, before the shooting happened, we're told there was a concert at Terminal 6 located off of East 6th. Gay says around 12:20 they started getting calls regarding fights at this club. Officers did respond due to the size of the crowd. They then asked for the fire marshal and TABC to come to location. Then about 40 minutes later, police received multiple 911 calls reporting shots fired in the alley and parking lot behind the club. APD says at least 2 people with guns fired multiple times. When downtown officers got on scene, Assistant Chief Gay says one of the individuals started running towards them with a handgun in his right hand. Officers gave multiple commands to drop his weapon. Gay says he was able to look at several videos, and he says you can see this individual running towards the officers, pointing a gun in their direction. After not listening to the officers' commands, that's when 8 of them fired their weapons. Danny is a DJ that was playing music at one of the bars during the time when the shooting happened. Chief Gay tells us that they did try performing CPR on this man who was shot multiple times. EMS had to take him to the hospital, where he was later pronounced dead around 1 o'clock this morning. We did ask Chief Gay what happened to that second individual who was allegedly firing his weapon in the alleyway. Well, he's asking for the public's help. If they have any video, know any information about this case, to please contact them immediately. Good morning to both of you. Police say they have a lot of video footage to go through. The assistant chief tells us everything was caught on public safety cameras, as well as body cameras worn by the officers. A total of 8 officers shot and killed a 21-year-old man earlier this morning. It happened around 1 in downtown Austin off of Trinity Street near 6th Street. Before the shooting, there was a concert at Terminal 6 located off of East 6th. Assistant Chief Troy Gay says around 12:20 they started getting calls regarding fights at this club. Officers did respond due to the size of the crowd. They also asked for the fire marshal and TABC to come to the location. Then about 40 minutes after that, police received multiple 911 calls reporting shots fired in the alley and parking lot behind that club. APD says at least 2 people with guns fired multiple times. When downtown officers got on scene, Assistant Chief Gay says one of the individuals started running towards them with a handgun. Officers gave multiple commands to drop his weapon.
I was able to view several of these videos, and you can see on one of these videos, the individual's weapon points towards the direction of the officers. At that point, we had 8 officers that fired. towards the individual, and one officer fired a less lethal, which was a taser.
I was DJing, I was playing some music, and then all of a sudden we heard people running, crowd was running east on 6th Street. Everybody was just running. We turned off the music, shut the doors down, and that's pretty much it.
Danny was a DJ playing at one of the bars here on 6th Street during the time of the shooting. Police say the man shot was taken to the hospital, later pronounced dead there at the hospital. They're also looking for another man. That would be the other person in the alley when the shooting took place. They're asking anyone with information to please contact them. Back to the studio. Yeah, Lauren, it's been about 8 hours since the shooting took place, and you can still see behind me that officers are still on scene this morning. They have a portion of Trinity Street blocked off right now, but we're told 8 officers shot and killed a 21-year-old man who police say ran toward them with a gun in his hand. The shooting happened in the alley and back parking lot off of Trinity Street in downtown Austin. Before the shooting, there was a concert at Terminal 6. Police are telling us they started to get calls around 12:20 regarding a fight at that club. Officers did respond due to the size of the crowd. Then about 40 minutes later, police received 911 calls reporting shots fired in the alley and parking lot behind that club, Terminal 6. APD says at least 2 people with guns fired multiple times. When downtown officers arrived on scene, Assistant Chief Troy Gay says one of the individuals started running towards them with a handgun in his hand. Officers did give multiple commands to drop his weapon. When his weapon points in the direction of those officers, 8 of them fired and 1 used a taser. That 21-year-old man who was shot and killed has not been identified, but police say all of what happened earlier here was caught on public safety cameras, as well as the body cameras worn by the officers. 9 officers have been placed on administrative leave, which is department policy. Back to the studio.